Yeah, it's been 10 years, hasn't it? Well, I'm also having I'm also taking quite some time processing all of this because, yeah, holy shit. This channel has officially turned 10 years old as of today. January 14th, 2026, or January 14th, 2016, when I actually started. Well, yeah, this is a common misconception about uh, the the origin of my channel. Like the channel was created back in like June, I believe, of 2013, so 3 years ago, uh, as opposed to 2016. But I do not count that as the start of my as the official start of my channel, as I've pointed out many times in the past, because back then I only had the channel for commenting, liking, subscribing, all of that standard stuff. But when January 14th rolled around in 2016, that was actually when I uploaded my very first video, the intro that I never used. I was very big on intros at the time, and I followed it up immediately, like of 2 months later or something like that, with yet another intro, which was, yeah, one step at a time. We should probably start at the beginning in this retrospective. I've been thinking of doing this for a while, and I was like, God, 10 years time. That's gonna be a long ass time until I'm actually ready for this kind of retrospective, because we'll get to it when we get to it, when I start mentioning all the influences and the idea of this video. But yeah, I thought to myself, it was actually when the channel was like 3 to 4 years old, even 5. I was thinking of doing this, and I always thought that it's gonna take a long ass time for us to get here, and here we are, 10 years later, and here we are. So when I thought of starting a YouTube channel, so how did I actually first thought of doing this? Well, it's rather simple. I mean, YouTube has been around for 21 years at this point, considering it launched in 2005, and it was, I think, 2006 or 2007 when I first discovered YouTube as a medium. I remember the very first video that I watched. I remember it clear as day. It was 2 dinosaurs and a pig doing silly shit together. I'll probably overlay the actual video if I manage to find it, if it's a really old video at this point. So if I manage to find it, I'll overlay it on top of this video to let you guys know what I'm actually talking about. And yeah, back then I thought that YouTube was basically what it was first designed for by the 3 creators, the 3 founders of the platform. A fun little platform for all of us to share, like, silly stuff captured on camera, silly animations or stuff happening in real life. Yeah, it was certainly a different time, the early to mid 2000s. And yeah, there were definitely a few videos that I started watching at the time. There wasn't much of like of what YouTube is today, or would become in like 5 to 6 years time from then. Even faster, I would argue, considering the rapid rise of the platform. But I did manage to find, like, not too long after, like a couple years after the after I first discovered YouTube, I managed to find series or individual videos that I would circle back to constantly, due to just how entertaining they are, and a lot of them were like actually fan animations and other sorts of entertaining content. Where that's I think how I discovered the what was it? I discovered Flash animation as a concept through YouTube, due to the fact that some people were actually uploading them from Newgrounds onto YouTube. Like they were, I think most of it was done legally. Like they were just re-uploads, considering, and yeah, back then YouTube was a different time, considering, you know, the copyright system and copyright IDing and all of that. So it was kind of like the Wild West back then. It wasn't, I would not dare call that time the glory days of the platform, but it was a fun time, I should say. Like the early 2010s, I think, were like the peak and the glory days of YouTube. That's how I discovered. That's when bigger channels started making their way into the platform, and I'm not sure when PewDiePie popped in. When it comes to like these early YouTube giants, and in fact PewDiePie wasn't even one of the first ones I personally came across. It was a certain other individual. I saw a lot of channels back then. I couldn't possibly name some of them from that time. I could maybe a few, but not a lot of them, because a lot of them didn't stick to me personally. They weren't all that interesting to me. But then I discovered the channel of Kobanermani456. I'm pretty sure most of my audience knows who this is. And if you've been following my channel for the longest time, yeah, this guy, wherever he is, whatever he's doing right now, I've heard things that have happened, that he had some health issues in, I don't want to say recent years, because that was even like 5 to 6, if not more, years ago. And yeah, that sort of takes me back. So whatever you're doing, Kobe, it's good luck, hang in there. You've certainly left an impressive legacy and given me, you were essentially one of the biggest inspirations I could ever ask for. So yeah, whenever a question pops up on who was my first role model that I took after in like the early days of the channel, and in some aspects you can still feel it today, it was probably Kobanermani456. I do not remember how big he was at the time of my discovery, but I clearly do remember watching and rewatching a lot of his Let's Plays at the time. He was doing Sonic, yeah, mostly Sonic stuff, yeah, considering I was, and still am, a pretty avid Sonic fan at the time. So pretty much all of his Sonic Let's Plays I have seen in one point or another. Not so much sure about the other series, but I definitely do remember his Sonic Unleashed and his Sonic 06 Let's Plays being one of the highlights for me personally. And yeah, it's part of what motivated me further to be a YouTuber myself, because later I would find out, when YouTube evolved as a platform, that these content creators, these bigger content creators, actually can make a living off of YouTube and off of basically entertaining the masses with their content, whatever it might be. Now, it might not even be a gaming channel, or it can be anything really, and it sort of just, you know, clicked with me. And Considering that I've always had a knack of providing entertainment or comfort to be it audience or friends and family all together, it was kind of like a match made in heaven. It really was. So it essentially comes down to the fact that I generally did not have that many friends who were into. In fact, I don't think, looking further back and further analyzing certain things, I don't think I'm talking about the entirety of my elementary school. So, and for all of you Americans over there who are watching, who are my biggest audience to this day, so elementary school and middle school for you. I still don't get the how education systems are classified, even in other European countries, because there are multiple names for basically every kind of education level, and it drives me nuts. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But yeah, throughout that time period of my life, I barely had any friends that were into what I was primarily into. There were, sure, at the time there were a couple who I did manage to I did manage to talk and play some games at the time, but it wasn't, nearly as much as I would have liked. So it's not really the best start. And then when I got to high school, it was not that much better. But at the same time, the high school is the period when I actually started doing YouTube, since January 14th, 2016. So I was 14, almost 15 by the time I uploaded my first video. And then by the time I first started doing YouTube for real, like consistently uploading day after day, 1 or 2 videos, or possibly more depending on the situation, that was around April of 2016. So it was I was 15 at the time, and that's when I really got the knack for it. But anyway, I'm skipping one step ahead here to wrap the story I was telling about earlier. So I essentially wanted to be that kind of person who I would always tune in to watch in order to, when I was bored and wanted to experience games or topics that I did not have access to, because for instance, I come from Croatia personally, and in Croatia, like the Nintendo influence wasn't as grand as the PlayStation is the dominant console here in Croatia, followed by the Xbox and then the Nintendo. At the time, it was much more pronounced, but now Nintendo has actually climbed its way to be what it is on a global scale here in Croatia. Like that, it's a very tight sort of head race with PlayStation, with Xbox sort of being in a third place. So yeah, at the time, growing up, I had a Nintendo Wii, and not so much the PlayStation. While the circle of people from my school all pretty much had only PlayStations, and yeah, so it wasn't the best circumstance for me in terms of like connecting to all of the people my age at the time, considering that I didn't have much exposure to the world of PlayStation at the time. Shortly after my YouTube career started, I would get a PlayStation 4, and then I would replace it relatively recently with a PlayStation 5, and the rest is history. I still have my old Wii. Don't use it much, but I still have it, and I could potentially play a game or two. But anyway, I'm skimming off topic again. So, essentially what I wanted to be for all of those people, I wanted to be that guy which people would tune in to watch if they couldn't experience, since for example I wasn't privy to a lot of PlayStation games, so I would watch a lot of let's plays to a lot of games I couldn't either afford or you know, due to the lack of the console that it's ported on, I couldn't get it. So I wanted to be that guy, and also I wanted to basically cheer people up if they were having a bad day, and I just wanted to make people smile. That was the basis for creating this channel right here, and that hasn't changed at all in the last 10 years. It really hasn't. I've matured a lot, as we'll get through and get to this little retrospective. I'll cover pretty much everything there is to know in terms of my journey through this decade. And yeah, so with that out of the way, so I don't know why I actually started with an intro as my very first video, let alone an intro that I would never end up using. So yeah, I mean, I guess I was into editing at the time. I always wanted to, you know, I always had an aspiration for like animation, and my final degree, which you can find. You can no longer find it on YouTube. I had to take it down because of copyright claims, because I was using a fairy tale song in it. But you can find it on my Patreon under the lost content branch. You just have to support the biggest tier, and you'll have access to all the videos, all the good videos that are no longer hosted on the platform, which includes which was at the time my video with the most views on the channel, 150,000 if I remember correctly, which was my very first AMV video. And yeah, I was kind of torn to having to take that one down, because I mean, what do you do? It's the copyright strike system doesn't seek mercy, or doesn't give mercy, I should say. I'm stupid. So yeah, I was really into editing, and I really was, you know, interested in how it worked. I was editing in Windows Movie Maker. Windows Movie Maker would be my go-to editor for quite some time, until I was finally able to afford decent equipment and editing software. Like I'm currently I am editing stuff in Vegas Pro, which is leaps and bounds over anything I could do in Movie Maker, and I'm recording the recording softwares I usually used. This also varied from occasion to occasion, but I started out with Fraps, which was it was a suggestion for when I first started. Actually, let's save this for later. So after the first video, I'll get back to this topic in a bit. So after the first video, which I never ended up using, the avatar that actually appears at the end of the video was actually something I scribbled up during class in high school in MS Paint, I believe, or it was I think it was actually GIMP and Paint that I was using in order to come up with that. And yeah, the result is pretty freaking obvious. And yeah, I never ended up using that intro, considering that I've gotten feedback. You can actually, I think, still see the comment in the actual video that someone said that the video, no, not the video, the intro was actually a tad too long for a YouTube intro. So it was, I think, 28 seconds long. If I remember correctly, I think it was 28 seconds or 24 seconds, somewhere around that number. So the second video I uploaded was the intro, another intro which I basically made. I've shrunken it down to 14 seconds. And of course I was using, for the song in that intro, I was using the Evil Foundry stage theme from Sonic and the Secret Rings, which is the same intro that Kobar Armani 456 used. Because like I said, he was a major inspiration to how my channel would be created and how I would later develop as a budding YouTuber. And with that intro, I was finally ready to start making some content, but then we returned to the capturing software. So Fraps was essentially the first capturing software that actually worked. It was very basic, incredibly basic. My editing, considering, you know, the fact that I was also working in Windows Movie Maker, and the way how Fraps record things, some of the videos recorded with Fraps are an absolute atrocity to watch in this day and age, considering how far I've come. And you can see what kind of mic I'm using. This is, by the way, the Logitech Blue Sona microphone, and I couldn't be more happy with it. It's worth every penny I've spent, and I'm also using, it's an XLR microphone. Back then I would be using the USB, no, not the USB. At the time I was actually using a very cheap headset with these 3.5mm jacks, and they had an integrated mic, and that mic, depending on what kind of PC I had, because I went through multiple PCs, we'll get to that later as well, the audio quality on that, regardless of such, sounded absolutely awful, and I cringe every time I see the new videos. Like, when I compare the videos I'm making today compared to the ones I made in the past. So my very first Let's Play was of Heroes of Might and Magic 5. Heroes of Might and Magic 5, not only is it the first Let's Play on the channel, but it's also the very first game I've played and beaten. And considering it's one of the top, my most favorite games of all time, and one of the best games ever made, personally speaking, I decided at the time that I want to dedicate my very first Let's Play on the channel to it. And holy shit, so yeah, I've rewatched not the entirety, I've like seen bits and pieces of that first episode, and it's a sight to behold, certainly. So not only is, you know, I'll be remaking that Let's Play as well, just to be sure, either this year or next year. This year would be a bit more appropriate, considering it's also the 20th anniversary of that title in particular. Not promising anything, but I will try to squeeze in that Let's Play somewhere this year. No promises though, like I said. But anyway, oh my god, so I remember this clear as day. So that first episode of Heroes of Might and Magic 5 was recorded, I don't know, like 3 to 4 times, maybe even 5. The sole reason is I, for the life of me, could not find a great screen capturing software at the time. I basically had everything else ready, tip-top at the time speaking, ready to go, except for the freaking screen capturing software. One of the better ones that I've, you know, heard praises about at the time was a software called Dxtory. I'm not sure if any of you've heard of it. It's the first time I've heard of it at the time, and of course it was the trial version with a small watermark in the corner, which at the time I did not mind. And there were a lot of screen capturing softwares I've tried. One was actually Microsoft Encoder something, and that was a piece of shit that never worked. And then there were some other ones I tried. I tried the PC's built-in screen capturing software. I'm not sure what it was called. I'm not even sure what kind of PC I had at the time. We'll get to it, like I said, a bit later in a minute or so. But until when I finally got to the Dxtory one, I actually managed to record everything. And I'm not even sure what happened at the time, but I think the file size was actually gargantuan at the time for the video, and I only did the first mission in the Haven campaign. Actually, I'll actually check to see what did I exactly do. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, the video is 21 minutes long, and I only did mission 1, and I'm honestly shocked that it took me 21 minutes to do the first mission. And yeah, I also played the 1.0 version of the game, and that's another reason why that Let's Play needs a remake desperately. But yeah, the file size for, even if the video is 21 minutes, the file size was obnoxiously big, and if I'm remembering correctly, but I do remember for the fact that video, when I put it in for an upload on YouTube, it said that it would be finished in like 30 hours or something. So it was either the tremendous file size or the internet connection that we had, the internet speed that we had at the time, or a combination of both. So yeah, it was a very rough start, but then one of my buddies on Steam, who is also a YouTuber and also a somewhat of an inspiration when it comes to Heroes of Might and Magic 5 content. It's currently he's known as Alex Vanderjagt, if I remember correctly. So I'm giving a shout out to him, and if you're watching by any chance, which I highly doubt at this point, thanks for all the advice you've given me, and for being an inspiration. Like I said, it's been a blast. It's all come full circle. So yeah, he introduced me to Fraps, and it was I was in love with it at the time, and it had just about everything I could have asked for at the time when it comes to screen capturing footage. Screen capturing software, I meant to say. And yeah, after that I recorded the first episode, and yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, I would upload every day of the week, weekdays, weekends, all of that. I was a high school student at the time, but I didn't let that disrupt me. I tried to manage my chores and all of my tasks regarding YouTube and high school fairly well. I did make some very cringe-worthy reactions to some stuff that was happening at the time, but that's all in the past. But yeah, it was somewhat of a smooth sailing at the time, considering the kind of equipment I was working with, which would also include the PC. It's finally time that we get into those. So every PC I've had until 2 years ago, right? Yeah, 2 years ago at this point, they were all basically PCs that were bought from the company that I work for, and basically there were PCs that were decommissioned, and because we have like a practice where we have to basically replace equipment like phones and PCs and even cars after a certain time passes. And all of the PCs that I've had, all of the private ones that I had, were basically came from that source. And I can't remember the exact number of how many PCs I had at the time. It's, I believe, 4 or 5 PCs at least, in my opinion. But the problem with them was that they were not gaming PCs, they were business PCs, so the graphic card was really bad, and the processor was more fine-tuned to like opening and editing documents rather than, you know, gaming. But they could game. The older games, the older the game is, the better they could run it. But I could basically forget running games like Assassin's Creed 3, for example. I played through that game at the time. I did not let's play the game, for the record, for all of you who are confused as to when did I let's play that. I played that game at the lowest settings possible and with like 10 to 9 frames per second, even with that. And I was perfectly okay with that. Yeah, what can I say? No job and no income would do that to a man. But yeah, I would end up getting better and better PCs over the years. Right now, currently, I think you can see it behind me. I'm using a Razer Blade 16. And this is the very first PC that I've actually bought with my own money since I started working. Same as this mic, this monitor, everything you actually see here. And my PlayStation bag is behind the camera, you can't see it. Everything I've actually bought with my own hard-earned money. So back when I started working, so that was 5 years ago almost. It'll be around the beginning of summer. It'll be 5 years in total since I started working. So yeah, once I started working, it was basically kind of a stepping stone for me when it comes to my YouTube career, considering that now that I have my own source of income, I can grow and expand in ways I could never even imagine before, due to the fact that I never had any sort of stable income, and yeah, most of my income at the time would be spent into getting new games to feature on the channel. So yeah, it was kind of a wild ride. So another thing that is kind of a relic of the past from my early days on the channel is, this is, I think it's only featured in the Heroes of Might and Magic 5 Let's Play, and I think, if memory serves, only the original, not the Hammers of Fate or Tribes of the East. I don't think they are affected by this, but the PCs I was using at the time didn't have much in free memory after all as well. And of course those raw recordings can take up quite a bit of memory. And considering that they didn't have that much memory, the entire hard disk could get filled up just with the recording sometimes, and it was a pretty miserable time for me, considering that I would have to basically improvise on the fly if I had some more video to be made in terms of like finishing the episode if I was like 5 minutes away from the point where I wanted to stop recording initially. So it was certainly an interesting time to consider that. Nowadays I have all the space in the world considering that the disk I'm recording at, it has like 3 terabytes of free storage I can use to record whatever I want. So it's very fun to look back to what I started with and what I'm doing right now. And speaking of the way I recorded things, let's talk about how I actually recorded console games. So Heroes of Might and Magic 5 was my very first Let's Play ever, followed by Sonic Adventure DX, which was my also a PC game, my second Let's Play ever, and then my third Let's Play ever was Bully, and Bully was the very first console game I ever covered. I played the Wii version, which I no longer own at the moment. And when I will be remaking it, I will be playing playing it on the PS5, which is the port of the PS2 version. So it'll be Bully Classic, not the Bully Scholarship Edition. But we're not missing much. I'll explain when I eventually get to that game as well. So when I recorded Bully, that was before the time I even had a tripod, the one I'm actually using right now. To record myself talking to you guys. So what I would do is I would actually stack delivery boxes until I was leveled with the TV screen that I was recording, and then I would use I recorded my all of the console game Let's Plays that I recorded that are still up on the channel to this day, or at the time of recording, whenever it is you're watching this video, whenever you see a console Let's Play that's been recorded with a camera, it's been recorded with a tablet, which I also no longer own, which was the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 tablet. And seeing how it wasn't a traditional camera, I also had to do some interesting workarounds, as where I would put, like, here's my phone to demonstrate. So I would put the tablet like this, and then I would like stack it from both sides until it was standing on its own, so that it doesn't fall over. And that was basically how I captured console footage at the time. And I'm not even sure why I didn't think of this earlier, but when I got my PS4, I could have easily captured some console footage via the games, not the games, the system's own capture card. And I did not get the idea to do this until way later than I care to admit. I was very, very dumb for some reason. Even though that method was clearly better, and maybe some Let's Plays today wouldn't need a remake because of that. But yeah, what can you do? But I had fun with remakes during this marathon, and I'm bound to have some more fun as well. And I'm not sure how many episodes of Bully were actually recorded during this with this method, but only a handful, I can say, because right after like the third or fourth episode, I wanna say, I actually went to the shop to buy the tripod, and the tripod that I'm actually using today, which was of course made for a standard camera, but of course you cannot fit a tablet to it like that. So my dad actually improvised we actually bought one of those stands for the tablet that you stick onto the windscreen to use as a GPS or something, and we basically improvised that to go on top of the tripod in order to mounted a tablet kind of like the standard camera, and it was interesting. It was a very interesting workaround, and I've actually used this. Method of recording up until my Punch-Out Let's Play. So my Punch-Out Let's Play was the very last Let's Play of a Nintendo Wii game. After that, I've never used my Nintendo Wii at all. It's been sitting there since that Let's Play. And this was, I think, at the time when I started. I think I was, for the PlayStation games, I was either already using it at the time, the games and the console's built-in capture card, or I just started using that recording method after I wrapped up the Punch-Out Let's Play. So that was kind of a thing. Also, it was another interesting time for me because it was at the time I was juggling. I'm talking about my very first 3 Let's Play: the Heroes of Might and Magic 5, Sonic Adventure DX, and Bully. I was actually juggling those at the same time. But because I actually, at the time, I had the plan of doing it like I've been like I'm doing it now. Like I start a Let's Play, then I finish the Let's Play. Like Age of Empires 3 is an exception for the record, considering I'm doing things chronologically speaking. So I do a Let's Play, then go on to the next Let's Play, and so on and so forth. But I was kind of forced to do it like where I do one episode of Heroes of Might and Magic 5, then an episode of Bully, and then an episode of Sonic Adventure, because of the feedback that I've gotten from, I wouldn't say fans, it was actually people from the school I attended that I should be doing that. And their argument was like that's how the bigger YouTubers do it, you know. And while yes, that is technically true, it kind of wasn't my thing to do it like that. To me, it felt a bit disjointed, considering I'm playing one game and then I'm going to the other game and then to the third game and so on and so forth. It felt disjointed considering that I was switching between playstyles all the time, and I just personally wanted to do it one game at a time, so that I'm completely focused on what I'm doing currently, and then when it's all done and finished, I move on to something else. If it's not something like Age of Empires, like I said, where I do it in a more of a chronological order or something, when it better complements the story or something. There are exceptions like this, so but in general I like to do it like one game at the time. It's more fun to me, and for you guys it's essentially, I mean, there are, when I'm doing it like that, there are some of you who basically don't give a shit about one game and love the other, so it's a bit unfair to those to wait for that particular new episode in order to see where the adventure leads us. So yeah, it was interesting to see. But then I also started doing Yu-Gi-Oh content because I was still a pretty avid Yu-Gi-Oh player. I'm not sure when was my first, or even what was my first Yu-Gi-Oh video. Was it even an AMV? The very first AMV that got 150,000 views on YouTube. Not sure when that was uploaded, but let me fact check for when the first I'm pretty sure the first archetype analysis was the first trace of me doing YouTube content. So let's see. So okay, so archetype analysis tech genus was 8 years ago, so March 23rd, 2017. This could potentially be the very first Yu-Gi-Oh video I've actually posted, seeing how it's around a year after I've started actively recording for YouTube. Little did I know that that the Yu-Gi-Oh content would be the most watched content currently on my channel. Even my behemoth juggernaut videos that are my archetype analysis on Performapal and Heroes. And yeah, it's not just Performapals, it's like Odd Eyes, Supreme King, and Pendulum Magicians. But yeah, that was a thing to process. And in order to cover what was also going on during that Performapal video, actually is the one I'm focusing on. I need to go back to the what was it? It was the archetype analysis for Trickstars, which you can hear. You can hear that it was. I recorded this. I was in my very, very low point in life where I was stuck in college at the time. So that video was actually made on the day. I was very mad, first of all, on that day, considering that it was a Saturday when I'm pretty sure it was a Saturday when I made that video. And I also had an exam that day, which was, so yeah, I was required to go to the city on a Saturday to take an exam for something that I clearly wasn't built for, and it clearly wasn't my direction, the right way to do it. So I kind of rushed that archetype analysis. I was kind of jumpy and wanted to get things over with because I wanted to edit it in time and upload it before I actually went into town to do it. And same thing for the Performapal video. That was actually the one of the very first videos, I think, very first videos in general, not just the archetype analysis, where I've actually recorded it with breaks in between, because it's a 3-hour video, and me sitting on my ass for 3 hours talking about cards that appear on screen and that you trade and battle friends with is just, it wasn't that comfortable. So I had to take some breaks, considering how much content I had. And at the time I was still, like with the Trickstar video, I was still in college, and it was still, actually let me check that video when that was recorded. I'm a stickler for like fact checking stuff when something was made, and I can give a precise like input or read on what I was doing at the time. Okay, so it says 6 years ago. 6 years ago, exact date is, okay, November 23rd, 2019. Oh yeah, so yeah, 2019. That was, I was about a month and a half in at the time, and it was already, considering 2019, it was already the COVID-19 pandemic was already starting to take effect, first of course in China, and then spreading to us later on throughout 2020. And well, I can't remember exactly when it is that I left college, but it was around the mid 2020 to yeah, I think it was mid 2020 that I did, and that was the basis of the Reborn intro. And if you actually took notice, I actually deleted all of my intros except for the very first one because it's the very first video. Because I honestly did not see any point of having them up there, considering that most of the Let's Plays that feature those intros as well are gonna get remastered, and I kind of want to keep things clean. And for the record, when I construct brand new intros from in the future to use for the videos, I won't be uploading them by themselves onto the platform, because I really don't feel the need to do that anymore, and it just clogs up space on my channel for no good reason. So yeah, for all of you who remember the Reborn intro, that intro was basically created as me celebrating that momentous occasion when those, I want to call them, shackles were shattered, and I could finally spread my wings in mediums and directions that I wanted to take in life, considering that, again, the college thing was just such a missed opportunity and such a miscommunication from everyone involved. And I want to say, yeah, it all worked out in the end, considering that in 2021, so around half a year after I left college, I would get employed. Or actually, I think it was a full year now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was a full year after I left college that I finally got employed. I finally had my own source of income. I was finally feeling like I was going somewhere after that miserable time. And like I said, with my source of income, I bought the webcam that I'm recording myself with. I'm kind of stupid with like that. I have this mic. Everything you see here, I've managed to scrap up the money that I've saved up with my employment, and just evolve this channel to something I, at the time, never even thought was possible. And it just makes me happy. At this moment, I'm really happy with myself and what I've done with the channel. I'm very proud with how far I've come, what I've done currently, and where this channel is going in the future. I'm not too sure of it still myself on where exactly this channel might be going in the future, but I'm really excited to see it. Could things be a bit better? Yeah, they can, but I won't split hairs. I'm always gonna be focusing on exclusively the positive in terms of everything, be it, you know, my personal life or my channel. And what I wanna say here, probably, as I'm getting ready to wrap this video up, is thank you all for, you know, sticking with me for. To all of you who have been subscribed since minute one, I still remember my very first subscriber. It was the Overbound Game Studio, and at the time, Overbound Game Studio had a little over 1,000 subscribers, and now, at the time of recording this video, I have 1,300 and something subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. That time when I actually first broke 1,000 subscribers, that was such an unimaginable thing to me, because I thought to myself, oh, maybe I'll get a few hundred, or like 100, barely 100 plus, and that'll be kind of it, even if I do end up recording very frequently like I am today. But to think that I would go over 1,000 subscribers and be able to earn money from YouTube, granted not much at the time of recording this video, but it is there. and I'm very happy about it. It's amazing. I really cannot put it in any other way. It's really amazing that I've managed to start with, you know, very basic and terrible both hardware and software, and evolve into, well, this. I have such phenomenal equipment and experience, first of all, of doing this, that I'm able to do things much faster and better than I ever thought I could be. It's really staggering when I think about how I started and how far I've come in this 10 years. Will I be doing another one of these in another 10 years? Absolutely, actually. I'd be more than happy to maybe do this for every 10 years until this channel is live and well, and if all goes well, here's hoping, that's gonna be for a very, very long time to come. So to all of you, like I said, who have been there from minute one, thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I can't express how grateful I am to each and every single one of you who have tuned in to watch my successes and failures, because we've all had them. Even me on the channel, there are both sides. These are both sides of the same coin, both successes and failures, and everything in between that might actually come as well. And currently, I also forgot to mention this, so I'm mentioning this at the end. When it comes to other, you know, YouTube icons or role models that I have, there is of course the Jacksepticeye, which I've discovered relatively shortly after I've discovered the Cubano Money 456, and yeah, his personal growth and influence over its community and reaching numbers that I probably never will reach in my own lifetime is another thing that has helped me keep going and pushing on for as long as I did on this channel. So if you're watching, Jack, I highly doubt it that you are, but thank you as well for being a phenomenal inspiration. And of course, my biggest inspiration of them all, in as I grew older and older and started appreciating more refined tastes and viewpoints on things in general, especially like entertainment, movies, anime, gaming, manga, and all that. There's of course the Some Call Me Johnny, Juan Ortiz, and if there was one person that I really, if I had the chance to meet and would gladly take it, that would be Johnny. It's a no-brainer there. And yeah, Johnny, you as well, if you happen to be watching. Again, highly doubt that you are, but just in case, you know, greetings from Croatia. Would love to have you over sometimes. Be it for the summer season or anything. Would love to do a collab with you if you happen to, be it online or physically. But yeah, thank you for, again, being one of the biggest inspirations in life in general. I would be honored to meet you and to have you featured here on this channel, and I would love to appear as a guest on your channel. Only time will tell. But yeah, I think this video has gone on quite on long enough, and I'm actually kind of, it's actually kind of nice that I saved these folks for the end as well, in terms of mentioning them of being an inspiration to my personal growth on the channel. So I'll probably say this time and time again. Thank you all again so much for watching this video and all of my other videos which I've made in the past and the ones I'll be watching in the future. Yeah, as long as health serves me well, and as long as I keep coming up with brand new ideas and the drives to basically give you guys the best entertainment I could possibly muster, this train ride ain't ever stopping. It's been a very fun and entertaining 10 years, so for the next 10 years, let's make them even better. I think that would be fantastic. So thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more BlazBlog and updates. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Hey everyone, just letting you all know that I will be doing another Q&A video in the future, so if there is something you'd like to know about me or the channel, or simply want to bring up a topic for discussion, be sure to leave it in the comments below so I can include it whenever the video is ready. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time.